Good morning, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for our continuing series of webcasts on the new lay of the land as it pertains to COVID-19 and immigration law practice. Today, I'm so pleased to have my friend and colleague, Jeff Joseph, with us. My law partner, Alexander Carl, is also joining in from his secret remote location with a view of the Pacific Ocean. Hi, Alex. Hi, Jeff.
How are you, Alex?
So Jeff and his wife, Kirby Joseph, are both immigration attorneys with their offices in Denver, Colorado. Jeff is a senior partner of his firm, Joseph and Hall. Both Jeff and Kirby have really personally mentored me and helped me and countless others, sometimes I'm sure without even knowing, on how to make law firms run as efficiently as possible. With COVID creating extreme challenges for everyone, including every immigration lawyer on the planet, I've asked Jeff I asked Jeff for some time today to discuss how he's dealing with the post-COVID world. Jeff, it means the world to me that you're here today. I know you're really, really busy these days, running a campaign to get elected to the AILA, American Immigration Lawyers Association, as secretary and get in with the executive committee there. I really appreciate your time and your generosity today. Thank you for being here.
You bet, Ali. I'm happy to do it. Anything for you. And to be honest with you, this, when COVID happened, it was after I had decided to run, and it really kind of restructured how I thought about the campaign in the first place. It really kind of changed the priorities for, what I am looking to do for AILA, and that is really to help members, because first and foremost, it's a member organization. So I am happy to do this, and I hope that it provides some help and instruction to attorneys as they're coming back to their new normal as they're at their offices.
Great. So let's, how has your practice changed, Jeff? I know, you're in Denver. I don't know, is shelter in place still in place in Denver, Colorado?
It is. So we actually come back to normal operations on Monday the 11th. So all of our attorneys and staff will be back in the office on Monday. And so, we've been thinking about it as we sort of knew that this was coming. We started thinking about the protocols that we're going to put in place. And we actually got a lot of our employees to sort of have input and buy-in into that process, because a lot of these decisions that we're making really impact culture in a way. So, culture is going to change in a law firm when we're talking about situations where you can't have physical contact with each other anymore. So, it was really important to us that we had something that the employees believed in, that they could sign off on as well.
Yeah, so Alex and I have continually talked, obviously, since COVID, and we're trying to kind of rearrange everything, rearrange how we work. So one of the ideas that we came up with was to actually institute a 4-day week as opposed to 5-day week, because as we're working from home, I think we're realizing that it's actually doable and it's more efficient. So is that what you also are finding?
Yeah, that one of the amazing things about this whole process is the silver linings, right? And I think one of them is old fogies like us who are just kind of afraid and freaked out of the millennial thought of, working from home or flex time or telecommuting. It was an experiment that was ultimately very, very successful, because I think what we found is a lot of our employees, when given the right technology, when given the right resources, can be as or more productive at home. And I certainly found that for myself. I think it's going to be hard to go back to a 9-to-5 job at the office every day because of what I've learned from working from home. So absolutely, we've already talked to our employees about the ones that were successful on this plan about, look, if you want to take time off and work from home, we're willing to consider that, because I think it's proven to work.
Now, Jeff, I have a quick question. So in regards to some protocols that you may put in place when you go back to the office, can you give us a couple examples for example, we're thinking about having, maybe giving the employees options to wear masks, and we'll provide them if they'd like to, stuff like that.
It is remarkable, all the things you think about. And what Kirby and I did that I think was really effective is we actually went to our office and we drove up.
Right.
And we actually walked through the office room by room and thought about it from a COVID mindset. So for example, in the past, if you practice removal defense, you know that when you have a consult with a client, it often involves not only their family, but their extended family. All the aunts and uncles come and the cousins, and they all want to, those days are over. We just can't really have a situation where all the kids come with the parents anymore. So one of the things that we did is we instituted a policy. We sent it out to all of our clients. When they call to make an appointment, we let them know that it's one person and one guest only, and that if they have to bring their children, they need to be supervised in the parking lot, because we don't want to risk or jeopardize the safety of their kids by having them in the office.
Yeah.
And then, we installed a doorbell. We're keeping our doors locked, and we installed a doorbell so that if clients come, they ring the doorbell. If the mailman comes, he or she rings the doorbell, and then we come down to get it. So we're not allowing unauthorized access to the office. As far as masks, we decided as an office that we would provide those to our employees. This is one of the areas where we got a lot of buy-in, and the employees basically said, we don't want to have to wear masks in our own individual offices.
Right.
So our policy is, in your office, you don't have to wear it. In the common areas or walking through the halls, you have to wear your mask. And that's just sort of what we did. We also provided each employee with a tiny little bottle of 70% alcohol, rubbing alcohol, that they use to sanitize their own spaces. And hand sanitizer. And then we decided what are the high touch areas in the office. So we kind of walked around the copy machine, the refrigerator, the microwave, everything that has multiple touches is sort of designated to be sanitized by the receptionist. So several times a day, she is going through and cleaning the high touch items. You also have to think about things like client visitation. I mean, are you going to do in-person consults any longer? Are you going to reach that out to your staff members?
Right.
There's an enormous amount of consideration that goes into this.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Those are some great tips and tricks right there that we may install as well. So I appreciate it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but the other thing to think about is if any of your employees are at-risk employees, right? So the CDC has come out and said these particular classes of individuals are designated as high risk for COVID exposure and illness and potentially death. And so one of the things that was really challenging for us is getting buy-in on that, right? So going to our employees and saying, do you think that part of our policy should be that these at-risk individuals should be considered more for work from home or not? And we decided not to do it, but it is something to think about. Another big one that we learned actually through this process is that we have in place already disability policies that protect our clients, and they were attached to our life insurance policies. So, and I don't know if you have that for your firms, but if you have any sort of policies, you may want to look to see if there's a disability rider, because we did have one employee pre-COVID that her doctor said, given your weight, you probably should work from home. And she was able to get on disability right away because it was a doctor authorized stay at home. So it's another big one, I think, to look at is disability policies.
That's interesting. So the disability policy, is that part of the insurance policy that you provide?
It was part of our life insurance, correct?
So life insurance, okay.
Right, so everybody, as part of our sort of package, our health insurance package, it has a $10,000 life insurance policy and then a disability policy that attaches to it as well. And it's the first time anyone's ever had to use it, but it actually became very effective during COVID. She was able to get disability for a period of time, and then the COVID-related unemployment kicked in, and she's still able to work, to stay at home and be covered during that period. So
nice. So you've had good feedback as far as providing life insurance for your employees.
Yeah, I mean, the life insurance, to be honest, Ali, it's a really small policy. It's a $10,000 policy. It's sort of just like a little bonus that comes with their health insurance.
Right.
But the disability, I think, is really, really what's been effective.
Okay. Yeah. That's good to know. Thank you so much. I hadn't even thought about that. Now, I know you just published an article that's available online regarding this very issue.
Yes.
Post-COVID life.
Yeah. So Kirby and I were thinking about this actually right after the spring DC conference. When there was so much discussion about COVID on the Board of Governors, I came back to the office really concerned. And I sat down with Kirby and Aaron and said, we got to figure out what we're going to do about COVID. And so we immediately started putting a plan in place in case our office was closed. And sure enough, a week later it was announced. And so we wrote an article about preparing your office for crisis management that was published by Ayla earlier in March. And this is sort of a companion article about preparing to go back from COVID to your office. And so it talks a lot about, first kind of creating a brain team of people that were working from home about the good and bad things that happened, right? What technology did you need? What could have made your job easier? Because Dr. Fauci said on April 29th that there's going to be another wave, right? We're going back home at some point. So we need to know the lessons we learned and implement changes so that if it happens again, we can go. So that's the first piece of it. And then the second piece is what we already talked about, which is sort of a walkthrough of your physical facilities. Do you have bullpen sort of areas, or do you have closed door offices? Because, how you even situate your office furniture is going to change potentially.
Right.
It may be a situation where you need, partitions or something else. So, yeah, those are some of the things that are covered in the article. And then after that, there's a template for an actual action plan that you can put in place that we used for our firm that you can use as a template. So.
Okay, fantastic. That's great information, and thanks for sharing. Alex, do you have anything for Jeff right now before we dive into his campaign?
No, thank you, Jeff. That was very informative. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you guys for doing this. This is really, really a great service for, I'm sure, for lawyers and other people who are dealing with these crises. So thank you.
Of course. So now let's talk about your campaign. You're running for secretary for the American Immigration Lawyers Association Executive Committee, and elections are coming up. Ballots are available next week. So, and you do have a competitor from New York that is running by petition, and she'll be here tomorrow. We're giving her time as well. But I want to ask you, why should people vote for you, Jeff?
Yeah, so first of all, Nina is a dear friend of both of us, as you know, and I have absolutely nothing negative to say about her. She's a good candidate. I'm just a different candidate. I definitely am sort of a different option, if that's what you're looking for. And the main reason that I'm running is really two things. The first is litigation. I have been a litigator since I opened my practice in 1998. And I believe that Ayla has a real focus on litigation right now. We hired our first director of litigation. I've been serving as the co-chair of the Administrative Litigation Task Force, which the main mission of this task force is to train lawyers, to give them the tool of litigation as part of their arsenal to challenge unlawful agency action. And so I really believe in this mission. It's sort of become a passion of mine. And I think that we need somebody on the executive committee who knows their way around a courtroom, because liaison is becoming more and more challenging under this administration. Congressional advocacy is going to get us nowhere under this administration. We have to have another avenue to fight back against the craziness that we're seeing every day with our clients and our petitions. And the way to do that, and the way that we're seeing success, is federal court. And so the main reason that I want people to vote for me is because I know my way around a courtroom, and we need that kind of leadership as we enter this challenging time. The second thing that I would say is that I love Ayla. It's been the lifeblood of my career for 22 years, but the technology that we use sucks. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. It's terrible. And I mean, things like this, Ali, that you're doing right now, there's no reason that Ayla couldn't do similar things like this for members. And, I'm not talking about a $1 billion overhaul of our technology. What I'm talking about is implementing solutions that members don't have to go elsewhere to get, like forms programs and practice management software and databases. That should all be plus value added for the dues that we're paying. And so by the time that I serve my term on the Ayla Executive Committee, if I have accomplished that, then I can look back and say I did a good job. I'd be very proud of that. So.
Awesome.
Those are really good goals, and I support them. I've always been a fan of going to the younger members and see how they see the world. I constantly, I'm really blessed to have Alex and also our associate Scott. They're from another generation, and I constantly pick their brain, and I learn so much because the world has really shifted beyond COVID. I mean, even before COVID, it had shifted. And now it's like totally something else. So I applaud your vision.
Well, and I think it's not only something that would be good, it's something that's necessary. I mean, I think, if we look forward to revenue streams for AILA going forward, conferences are problematic. And I think that thinking about technology as a means of bundling with revenues and dues as a way of continuing AILA's revenue stream is, I think, going to be critical, to be honest, going forward.
Yeah, I agree.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for giving us time, Jeff. Like I said, I know you're busy, and best of luck with your campaign. We'll have your competition here tomorrow. We'll ask her the same questions, and let the games begin.
Yeah, give her a virtual hug for me.
I will. I will.
Okay, Ali and
Nice.
thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Nice talking with you, Jeff. Thank you.
Best to Kirby.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye.